So recently, I've been keeping up with the finals competitive scene, and I've been pretty disappointed with most of the tournament organizers. So let's start with the most recent event that got announced, and that is from Finals World League. So this tournament will be happening on the 29th, which is literally tomorrow. It is a paid tournament, so you have to pay $7.50 per player to play in this tournament, which is like already like a huge barrier of entry for most players. And not only that, you have to use their website to sign up. And I don't know how trustworthy these guys are. I mean, they might be trustworthy, maybe not. The main thing I want to talk about is how they're running this. And if we look at their rules and stuff, so the format for this is round one, cash out, game mode, best of one. That means four teams, and then two teams advancing. And then round two, cash out, best of one, four teams, one team advancing. Now this is where I have my first issue. Is like, come on, like one team advancing in a cash out game mode. It doesn't really make any sense to me because like there's so many ways you can kind of abuse this. So like if you're in a game and you have to get first place, there's some instances where you just cannot make that happen. So like you're guaranteed to lose. So like if you have $0 and the first place team has 40K or something, what you can do is just grief another team, and then the game wasn't made to have only one team advance in the cash out mode. Creates a lot of conflicts of interest. I just don't think it would be fun for every team. And say you're second place in this second round of cash out, and you have to get first place, and the first place team all they have to do is hide. Like if there's no time to get the cash out, all you got to do is hide. It's like, bro, how is any team going to find a first place team to even have a chance of wiping them? Like, it's the game mode is not built for this. I'm just going to say that. What they should have done is just done it just like how the game does it. Like, play cash out mode, top two teams advance, and then you have the final round against the top two teams. And then they're going to do quick cash for quarterfinals, quick cash for semifinals, and then the finals, quick cash. And that's another issue I have. Like, you can't use quick cash, the game mode, for a 3v3 mode. Like, you have to have the same settings as the finals, as the original ranked mode. You're basically playing a different game if you're playing quick cash. And let me explain why. So, quick cash, you have lower respawn timers. So, when a teammate dies, only takes them like 17 seconds to respawn instead of the normal 26. So, this makes it really hard for a team to completely wipe a team, and it just creates these endless fights that are just so annoying. And because there's no coins either, you get free respawns. So you can just respawn as much as you like. So the strategy really changes in Quick Cash, and it's basically a different game mode than just what people are playing competitively. And that's why I am not a big fan of Quick Cash or even the 3v3 mode in general. Yeah, so they're gonna do quick cash for the last three rounds of the tournament, bro. It's like you do the first round on a different game mode, and then you do the last round on the different game mode. It's I don't know, bro. It's just not great. I feel like a way I would fix this is like you don't use quick cash. You just keep doing the cash out mode, but you just do 3v3 instead. First team to get two cash outs win. After they win, and you just leave the game or whatever. Yeah, and then you also set a rule like you can only go for the number one vault and then the number three vault. The other vault doesn't come into play. I think that's a better way to do it. Makes it so that it's still the same rules as the cash out mode, while also staying somewhat true to the final round in a ranked match. I don't know why tournament organizers don't do that. It seems pretty easy to me, but I guess they just like to play quick cash. And I'm gonna be honest, like quick cash is not a competitive mode. And another thing I have an issue with is that they don't say what servers you're supposed to play on. Like it doesn't say NA or EU, so it's a little bit confusing. Especially, I'm looking. This is the rule book too. Like, if they don't have it in the rule book, like, not even in the Discord announcement either. So, come on, man. UK time. So, I'm assuming this tournament is EU, maybe. And this is like a common theme that happens in like most of these tournament organizers for the finals. They're not communicating well about like the rules and stuff like that. And speaking of the Finals World League, this is the same organization that apparently streams X Defiant. Finals World League streams X Defiant. What? Does this even make sense? Is this real life? I mean, I'm not a big fan of tournament organizers sort of like splitting. They're kind of giving up on one game and then playing another game. Like, your organization is literally called Finals World League and you're streaming X Defiant. Come on, bro. Pick a lane, bro. Pick a lane. This is a Breakout eSports, and I played in two of their qualifiers or whatever, and did not have a great time in either of one of those. They're trying to have the tournament with NA and EU in the same brackets and whatever or not. And that's so frustrating because like the games don't feel good to play. No hit reg, like abilities not going through, blah blah blah, movement really bad. But like ignoring all of that, like I have a ton of problems with the Breakout esports format and rules in general. Like right before we started playing, one of the days they added a completely new rule, and it's like teams cannot stall until the match timer completes. Stalling is not limited to stalling a cash out for more than 1 minute after it completes its wind up phase. So notice here they literally define stalling with the word stalling. Like come on, man. Like all right, let's continue. Happens before or after a team scores the first cash out, when a team farms the other teams for kills prior to cash deposit into cash out. And they use quotations for the word farms and never even define what the word farms mean. They just want players to assume what they mean most of the time, at least with these type of rules. And the thing is, like, they also make this rule, but they also don't say what will happen if you break this rule, or what team counts as stalling, what team is going to be penalized for stalling. It's very unclear. And then, so like, obviously, I went to the term organizer. I was like, okay, I need some clarifications on what these mean. And it's not very good. And I told him it's not very good practice to implement these rules right before an event. Like, couldn't you have thought of this like 5 days before? Like, what made you think about placing this rule right before the event starts? Like, if the rule was like super important, like you could mess up entire team strategies or whatever and stuff like that. And they just gave me like a default ass response. They said like, "Oh yeah, well, most tournaments do this. They come up with rules at last second because they have to or whatever." And like, okay, well, I guess you got me there. I don't know. I just really hate when like rules are just made last second. And this happens in KachiRivals also, which I will talk about after this. I reached out to the tournament organizers for Breakout. I was like, okay, so what is stalling? Blah, blah, blah. And I asked, what is the intention of this rule? Also, I need clarification on engagement and team fight. What specifically is an engagement or team fight? Can a team intentionally not start a fight to force the enemy to rotate the vault for them due to the stalling rule so they can ambush them? Also, you guys define stalling with the word stalling. Please be clear. I had to type in the general chat of this Discord to get a response after making this ticket. And so after I typed in general, I was like, when can I expect a response to my ticket? So they say, hey, apologies for getting back to you so late. The rule was put in place so teams after scoring the first point would not be able to stall out the rest of the match timer by taking a cash box the rest of the match. This allows for teams that might not be as skilled or have as much cohesion together a fair chance to win a game. All right, after I read that, I was like, what is this? What is this tournament for? It's called a Master Series, and you're going to give advantage to a team that's worse? Like, what? What's the whole point of this tournament if it's not to show who's the best? Like, I don't know. It's like the most craziest response ever to like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It also prevents a spectator side a boring match by having teams take more engagements and causing teams to think outside the box. Okay. In terms of clarification of engagement or team fight, it is self-explanatory. It is any fight that team takes prior to depositing the cash box. Teams can set up early and chances to ambush, as what happened in BKO versus Divine Dead. Teams can either forfeit the box, as Divine Dead proceeded to do, letting BKO enter the box, or find a way to force a team fight. We changed stalling in the explanation to holding. Okay, that's better. All right, but like, you have to clarify a team fight or engagement, because like if I start shooting at a wall, does that count as a fight? Does that count as an engagement? What counts as an engagement? Like, do I have to be this far apart with the enemy, this close to the enemy to count as engagement? What if I'm just looking at the enemy and he isn't shooting me at all and he doesn't know I'm behind him? Like, does that count as a fight? What counts as a fight? Like, they make the rules so vague, bro. Like, it's so vague that like it's not possible to really like, tournament is a time waster. And this is why I hate setting rules that like prevent things you can do in game, because like you have to create such specific rules for them to be actually good. Like, you have to make sure you define this specifically. Like, it's your job as a tournament organizer to make sure that the rules aren't vague And these guys are doing the exact opposite. They're making sure their rules are intentionally vague so they can just say whatever they want. If they have a bias for a certain team, they can just say, "Oh yeah, this rule means this." Like, obviously that might not be what they are trying to do, but that is what is going to happen with how vague they are making these rules. And so yeah, obviously I responded like, "Okay, say the enemy team throws you the box and you never touch that box. Who is stalling the game?" So like the enemy team throws the box to me and I don't touch the box. I'm not holding the box. Does that mean I'm stalling the game? And I also said you also just described a fight with the word fight. Like these guys like bro, what counts as a fight? That's all I'm asking for. All I'm asking for is what is a fight? So this goes on for a little bit and they really don't want to lock down on like a specific like ruling at all. It's basically like I'm working for them, to be honest. So yeah, I keep going on like what's a team fight and like what counts as a team fight, like whatever. And then the CEO or whatever, I don't know, the main boss man, he says, okay, I think that's about it. We understand your diligence to get the legality of the terms. That's not exactly what I'm going for. I'm trying to make sure that your rules are actually good. Um, but you understand the concept behind the rule. Okay, I understand the concept of the rule, but what if I didn't? Like you can't assume that I understand when easily another person could be just as confused as I am. If you ever played the game where like you have to write instructions to make a sandwich, and a person tries to make a sandwich with your instructions, but they like mess it up because your instructions are unclear or something like that. Like this is sort of the same thing. There are different ways to interpret things. Like unless you make very clear instructions, you're not gonna get you're not gonna get very good results. Okay, so he says we will take a deep dive and make sure that all is in place. But in the end, both sides understand what the rule was referring to. If at any point you are stopping the progression of the game, this rule will be enacted. Okay. Like these guys don't really understand what I'm trying to get at. Is like I want you to make a better rules, and better rules is better for the players. And if it's better for the players, it's better for you as a tournament organizer. At this point, it seems like they're getting mad at me for being very analytical of their rules or something, or critiquing of their rules. And that's fine. I know like Socrates asking questions can get you in trouble, I guess. But I should have answered a little differently here. But I say, and the same conversation would happen when the rule like, like okay. So my main point here is like when I said in the same conversation what happened, I was like, okay, you rather this rule discussion happen in game rather than outside the game, like I am doing right now, giving you heads up about whether what you should change about the rule. And he says understandable, and that's all he says. He obviously doesn't want to fix it, and he obviously wants to stop talking to me. And that's the impression I got when he said understandable and didn't say anything else. So I said, okay, better to do it early to try and continue the conversation. But he said we will address the teams looking to shy around the rule, looking for a break. So he defines this as teams looking to shy around the rules. I kind of disagree with what he said. Like, I don't think teams are trying to shy around the rules. They're trying to play with the rules because those are the rules you set. And if they're unclear, then what are the rules? You know. Obviously, I say I'm not shying around the rules. You host a tournament. You have a responsibility to make sure it's completely understandable. And he just says understandable or understood, and obviously, he wants to stop this conversation. And actually, a big reason why I'm not going to play in the Breakout series anymore. I do have videos planned around it. I would not be giving them free publicity after this video, like unless they really fix their game up. And I'm actually interested to see if they actually fix some of the things I told them to fix. And after this conversation, I obviously had some more things I wanted to talk about, like looking at the rules, like disconnects can be abusable, and these guys are very small tournament organizers, but it's actually kind of crazy how they didn't want to fix their rules, even though I was giving them free help. And not once did I get a thank you for trying to help them fix their rules, which is fine, I guess. I'm doing it out of the kindness of my heart. Really, like, makes me feel like they don't care about their tournaments. Like, if they really cared, like, they would be taking this input I'm giving them with grace. And so this tournament also forces you to only run one heavy class. So like there's no double heavy, no triple heavy. Um, which is something I hate because like you're restricting how a player can play their game just because you don't like something. That's basically what I think. I hate this because like you're not only like creating a whole new game mode of the finals, and you're trying to market it as like like a competitive finals scene, but really what you're doing is you're just limiting the amount of players you're going to get in your tournaments, because like you're creating this this group of people that only play this specific game mode. Like you can only have one heavy. Like, okay, now the game is this much smaller, bro. It will appeal to that little of a audience. Like, and not only that, they're playing quick cash, also 3v3s. Super boring. Looking at the rules, it doesn't seem like they really changed anything, to be honest. I suggested that they added a max rehost, but they didn't. I suggested they only have like maximum one rehost or two rehosts so that they can't be abused to get a specific map a team wants. They didn't do that. I also suggested that they like, okay, so these are best of threes, right? So if a team wins first round, the other team wins the second round, you have to go to map 3. So who hosts the server on map 3? Here's what they say: the higher seeded team gets to play on their map first, or their server first, and the lower seeded team gets to play on their server after. So the second game, and then the third, they don't say anything. They don't say anything about map 3 on what server. Like, that is another simple thing you can just add like straight to your website very easily. You could also have these rules in your Discord, which they don't have. Like, how easy is it to put your rules in multiple spots? It's very easy. I feel like super easy. But they just don't want to do it. Try to help them. They don't want. They don't want the help. So yeah, that's my opinion on breakout master series. So let's talk about KachiRivals. Now, KachiRivals has been probably the best tournament organizer so far for the finals, at least in my opinion, mainly because they're super talkative with the community and stuff like that. But they suffer with some of the same issues with some of the other tournament organizers. They deleted most of the stuff, but I remember I was playing in a scrim and they like they commercialize scrims. So like they do like every Friday they do casted scrims. Like, what's the point of a scrim if you're just gonna like stream it? It sort of defeats the purpose of a scrim, but because if you're gonna stream it to like a whole bunch of people, it was like you're sort of exposing the strategies that some teams are doing, and you're also only limiting it to Fridays. Like, why not just make something that people can do every day, or like some type of bot that can actually help people make scrims or something? Instead, you're just doing it every Friday, just streaming it, and then people can only scrim on Fridays. Like, what? That was very weird, I feel like. And they're also doing the 3v3 quick cash thing. It's like, okay, bro. That's, I mean, if that's what you want the competitive scene to be, that's fine. But just know that you're going to be limiting the amount of people that are going to come in. Like, people aren't going to come in trying to play quick cash 3v3s. Like, people are going to come in coming from ranked. That's the competitive mode. Like, you want to play cash out mode. They want to play cash out mode. It's sort of the same thing with their decision to ban heavies. And what they did is they basically did a poll in their Discord whether or not they should ban double heavy or whatever. And most people said they wanted double heavy banned. And that's only the people in your Discord. How are you going to get more people to play the game, or join your server or join your tournaments if you're only asking the people in your Discord that only like 3v3s? Like, you're just limiting the amount of players you're going to get in the future. I was trying to play one of those scrims because it seemed like they weren't doing double heavy ban. But then on the day of, like literally hours before, bro, the one of the admins just come in and type, "Oh yeah, there's a rule. Double heavy is banned." And then so all the practice that I've been putting into my team playing double heavy and one medium just gone to waste for this scrim, bro. All right, so I guess we're not playing that scrim or whatever. And then we ended up playing it still, and we didn't do double heavy. But like, what was the point? Like, we just basically raw dogged a raw dogged a new team composition right off the bat to play in this scrim for no reason, basically. Tournament organizers need to set their rules. Like, say what your rules are before the tournament or event starts. Like, it's that simple. And I know KachiRivals was going to transition to Xify because it wasn't successful, or the finals wasn't successful. But I think they changed their mind, I guess. I don't know. Now they're doing both, which is a little weird to me. If you're going to leave the scene, just leave the scene, you know? But yeah, KachiRivals definitely seem like the most active out of all the like tournament organizers. Uh, I see most of their staff talking in chat, and but yeah, that this is sort of why like I'm very disappointed in the finals competitive scenes because like they're not doing a very great job. I'm gonna be honest. Like create rules that are good, specific, straight to the point. Maybe say why you're creating those rules so people understand it actually, instead of just saying, "Oh, this is the rule because we said so." Communicate with your audience that you want to have. So like people that play the game, not just people that are already like not just the audience you already have. If you want to grow your tournament organization, like come on. You have to appeal to a larger audience. You can't just keep limiting what people can do in game and just expect that to be better for your tournament. I'm going to be creating my own tournament, or not going to be really a tournament, but like sort of a queue. If you're interested in that, I will have another video that I will post alongside of this video explaining the format and stuff and exactly how you can join. It's going to be super easy. It's going to be all in Discord. It shouldn't be that hard. But it is my first tournament I'm organizing, so please bear in mind I am willing to take suggestions, willing to change the rules a little bit just so they're super strict, super concise, super understandable. If this goes well, I might be doing it weekly. So for NA and EU, for this first one, I'm just gonna do NA because that's sort of where my audience mainly lies. But if there's enough interest for EU, I can do EU also, just probably on different days. So like Saturday or Sunday. Saturday might be for NA, Sunday might be for EU or something like that. Depends on what time people can actually play. But yeah, whoever wins it will get every person on that team will get a battle pass code or 500 multi-bucks if they already have the battle pass. Yeah, look at that video. And thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you guys later.